Well, I'm here on behalf of the Culture Committee. I'm not the Culture Committee. Cardick, I'm going to go ahead and read my list because I almost forgot somebody the other day. Cardick, Teresa, Ann, Arlene, and Ashley Pugh. Ashley Pugh, Arlene Woods, Ann Fazekas, Teresa Purcell, and Cardick Patel. They are the Culture Committee, and I'm the one that is kind of in charge of it. And so, Bridgie, she's part of the Culture Committee too. Yes. And see, even I have my list and I forgot. Anyway, this was their idea. We asked them, what's the one thing we need to do as Culture Committee? And they felt that we needed to get new agents feeling connected to the seasoned agents. So what better way is to get together at an office meeting and kind of put an emphasis on new agents coming and seasoned agents coming and getting their questions answered. It's a scary time when you're first starting real estate, not that far removed from it. So I remember having lots of questions and you hate asking over and over. So this is kind of without making that phone call, not to say you can't. KW culture is let's help each other and make us stronger that way. But this is the way to get some of those questions answered. So we have a list of questions here that we reached out to our new agents and said, hey, what's on your mind? What do you want to know? What questions do you have? And this is the set of questions they submitted this month. So we're going to go over those here shortly. First, I just want everybody to introduce yourself. For seasoned agents, just briefly tell us something about you. And then how did you get your first lead? So seasoned agents, tell us how you got your first lead and just briefly tell us something about you. We got a pretty good crowd, so don't take too long telling us about you because I know there's a lot to share. And then new agents, briefly tell us about yourself and tell us why you decided on real estate. Now, I know some of you guys don't feel so new around here. We went all the way back to 2020 because 2020, we really lost connection due to COVID. So some of you guys have hit your million. You feel like maybe you've got real estate figured out. We went ahead, maybe not, but we went ahead and included you because we didn't want to just do 2021. So 2020 agents are a part of this, even if they started back in last January. They've been with us over a year. We're including you too. So seasoned agents, tell us why, or tell us how you got your first lead, and new agents, why you got into real estate. And I think we'll start with Michelle. Are you good with that, Michelle?
I got my first lead. Friend of a friend, referral, sphere of influence. I guess just letting everyone know I was going into real estate.
Okay. And do you want to tell us something briefly about yourself? You got kids or what? What do you want to tell us about you?
5 children, 9 grandchildren.
Oh my goodness.
2 dogs, 1 cat, 1 rabbit, 16.
There we go.
Who gets the most attention out of that list is my question. Chickens?
I wonder if our Zoom people can hear.
Are y'all hearing okay?
And can you hear?
Counterbalancing act.
You can? Okay, perfect. Sam?
Sam Nehoff. I got my first lead by just calling friends and going through like the contacts and everything on my phone.
So sphere of influence on both of you. Okay. Brian?
My seasoned or new?
I'm going to let you decide that.
Well, I got my license in 2019,
Okay.
so I guess I'm seasoned.
We'll consider you seasoned.
I got a little something going on. But my name's Brian Wyatt. I've been in real estate for 10 years as a private investor and 2 as a licensed realtor because I didn't want to pay somebody else to do my job. My first lead, and I'll go ahead and throw that in, was a buddy of mine I used to work with as a cop here in the city. It was on Bridge Street. And so that was my first house to sell in my first lead.
Perfect.
So it was good.
Lisa, she's definitely one of our newer ones around here.
Maybe 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks I've had my license. So I love everything about houses. Probably am very overwhelming when it comes to that. So hopefully I don't do that to anybody. But Lisa Samiro, I have 3 kids, 4 grandkids, a wonderful husband who's my best friend. I didn't share that the other day. But I've done lots of stuff with houses and just never took the plunge to realty. We've remodeled. I've had a painting business for years and had a horrible accident last year and gave me time to
sit and do the computer work and jump in, so I'm excited. So like I said, 3.5 weeks in, I've had a couple buyer leads so far, just through reaching out. And then I actually have my first appointment tomorrow for hopefully a listing, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. Let's go all the way back to Tracy.
I got my license back in late July. I did real estate because I was actually in the school system for almost 8 years. And I've always had an interest, just process interesting. I love to go through them. I love everything about them. And so when we moved, I thought, oh, what a perfect opportunity to change fields and actually do this. We had just sold our house, so I had a little bit of cash to do, right? And so I started doing real estate then. I have 2 kids. I transferred here with my husband for a job. And I got my first lead door knocking.
That's right.
9:15.
You're kidding.
We give her.
I was gonna say this done quick.
I think Arlene said the doctor, she forgot to mute her phone, so. She's with her husband.
There we go. I think so. Yeah. there you go.
All right, thank you, Tracy. Leslie?
I had got my license in 1998, and that was before cell phones, if y'all can even fathom that. You young people in here, we did not have a cell phone. We used a desk phone.
No,
And you had to stop at a phone booth if you got lost, and you would call the number where you were supposed to be, and that's what you had to do. So go figure that one. I have 4 children, and I have 4.5 grandchildren. One is due in April, so another girl. And then I raised my granddaughter, Kennedy. She's 5, and I think she's going to either be the best real estate agent ever, or she's going to be president of the United States. I don't know which one yet. She's about 20 right now. When you talk to her, you think she's 20. And she's a hoot. She's brought a lot of joy to my life. So at times when I definitely needed it in the last few years. I got my first lead. This is really... I didn't hear that question the other day.
That's
I
okay.
could barely hear y'all at Maria.
I know. I'm
It was
hoping they
real-
can
it was
hear
real bad,
us.
So I just kind of blurred. I don't even know what I said. But that's when you got your license and they said, here's the phone book, write down everybody you know, see if you can find their phone number. Well, and that's those days you had people's home phone, and they weren't home in the day when you're trying to make calls. So it was a disaster. But there was a lady, she's still living. Her name is Norma Adams. And does anybody know Norma? I know you do. Yeah. Well, she told me that she calls you, hey girl, until you stay there for a whole year. And once you're in the business for a year, she'll call you by your name. So she was real rough around the edges, but she had a lovely heart. And one day she came up to me and she said, I've got these people wanting to buy a house and it's just $40,000. Would you like to do that? Ever meet them? I said, well, sure. I sold that house 3 times.
Wow.
So it stayed with me like 7 or 8 years out. That was just over and over. So I always attribute that to Norma didn't ask for anything. She didn't ask for one bit. And she said, I don't want to fool with them houses like that no more. If you know her, that's really funny.
She's smart.
So that's, I guess, what you asked me.
Yes, that's right. You did
Yeah.
great, Leslie.
My first lead, right?
Yes,
Got
ma'am.
it.
Okay. Dora, I think everybody knows you, but we'll go ahead and let you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got your first lead.
Okay. I'm like Leslie. I've been doing this since 1998. I've been in and out of it in different ways. I originally started as the front desk person for Remax in Benton, and continued on to get my broker's license with them. I've done lending and construction, so I've kind of got a variety of background there. I have 2 kids, son's in Nashville. My daughter's hopefully going to finish her real estate license real soon. I need her help, but my very first lead came from the owner, the principal broker at Remax.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And everybody probably knows Bridgie too, but we'll go ahead and let her introduce herself. What do you do around here, Bridgie?
I think the question is really
She writes our checks, is what she told us in Murray.
Yeah, new agents have to put you in the system, get you set up for like, your .live and get you the information to do your KW profile, like your checks and your escrows.
She does a great job. Great job. Thank you, Bridget. And she's part of the culture committee. All right, Victoria. So I'm Victoria Webb. I've got 2 little girls at home, another girl on the way, so 4 girls. And real estate is something that I've thought about off and on for a long time, and finally just decided to do it. With having young kids, flexible schedule is always good to have. So, yeah. I'm glad you joined us. Yeah. Welcome. And then Mackenzie, you want to tell everybody what you do around here?
Hello, I'm Mackenzie. I'm probably the first you see when you walk through the door.
She's here for you. Agent services, so she answers some of our questions and helps around here a lot. So she helps keep this place straightened up and cleaned up and does a lot of phone calls and gets us our leads, wartime leads. She takes care of all of that. There's a lot she does behind the scenes. So, hey, Melinda.
Hey.
You got here just in time.
I know, and I heard everybody's except Sam. He was so quiet.
Do you know what you're supposed to tell us?
Yeah, Melinda Watson, and I got my first lead through one of my best friends, actually. I had just gotten licensed, and I volunteered at a place where she worked, and as I was teaching a class, and as I was coming down the stairs after the class, she came out of her office and caught me and handed me this little piece of paper that had an address on it and said, I want to see the house. And I had literally just gotten my license. So,
fun. So that was a buyer lead.
I showed her that house. It wasn't a house for her, and it was just a God thing how I found her the house that she bought, and then I listed hers and sold it, had it under contract in 3 weeks, which is in a market that's
Different
not
market,
like today's
yes.
market.
Yeah. Different market.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Melinda. Now we're going to go to our Zoom people. Christy, do you want to introduce yourself? You want to start us?
Christy Barnes. I forget. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the question. I've been doing real estate since June of 2017, and I have 3 daughters and a husband. They're all sort of teenager, pre-teenager age. Yay! Lots of activities there. And
how did you get your first lead? How did you get your first
lead? First lead was for sale by owner. Approached him, and it was in Mayfield, Kentucky, and good market to approach for sale by owners. Most of them are, if you talk to them, they're usually pretty good just to speak with, and usually they're still wanting to sell their house. They might be having trouble, and at the time he was having trouble selling it, and he was never home, so it worked out well. I convinced him to let me do it, and it worked.
Thank you, Christy. We'll go on to Arlene.
I don't know if y'all can hear me very well with this muffle behind the mask, but we're at Vanderbilt. Danny's getting tests done today. So anyway, I got my first lead being on Floor Time. Back when I started 33 years ago. People didn't have access to listings on the internet and stuff. So you would get a lot of leads off of Floor Time. So my first one was off Floor Time.
Okay. Thank you, Arlene. All right, we'll go on up to Ann.
Hi, I'm Ann Fazekas. I've been in real estate for coming on, I believe, 6 years. I live in Tennessee. I'm one of the few agents in the office that actually has a Tennessee license. So hi. Also work in Kentucky too. First lead was actually from a fellow KW agent who needed help listing and selling a short sale, and he wanted to buy it and he couldn't list it. So he walked me through the full short sale buying, selling process. We did 2 of them together. So it was a good learning experience.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, Amanda, but can you share with us? She's one of our newer agents in Murray. Amanda, are you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. My name's Amanda Oliver. And my first lead was from Klein Expireds. So I've got one under contract.
Yeah. And why did you get into real estate, Amanda?
My daughter's joining. I wanted to help her, but also my husband retires in 3 years. And so I was trying to help pay off some bills before he retires. so that way it's, when the retirement payment's not as good as regular payment, then we can have our stuff paid off so we can do whatever we want to do. So
thank you, Amanda. And then Teresa, she's part of our culture committee.
Hey, I'm Teresa. I got my license in 2000, and anyway, I went into premature labor with my son, and he ended up having about a total of 17 surgeries. And so I put in those years. But anyway, I had my license in escrow all that time. And a little over 3 years ago, I was taking a neighbor to dialysis, and I would talk to him about real estate. And he said, listen, I'm going to have to sell my house. What would it take for you to help me get my house sold? Because he knew I had a passion to do it, and I knew I wanted to do it again. And, I thought, this is it. I said, well, I need to get my license out of escrow. He said, why don't you do that? And that's how I got started back, and I just enjoy doing it.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. And last but not least, our owner, Linda Cecil, joined us today. So she's going to introduce herself and whatever she wants to tell us. I'll let her.
Yeah, you're actually going to let me talk for as long as I want?
Kind of, sort of.
That could be a problem. I just want to say welcome to the Keller Williams family for all of our new people. You may not know it now, but this company is so different than any other real estate company out there. And those that have been to other places might be able to share that with you. We base the foundation of Keller Williams on our agents. That's why you see in that wall, built by agents for agents. We're always focused on you and your success and our passion. What you're seeing and witnessing today is our agents caring enough to come to you and share with you how to get started. Our culture is we help one another. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're a part of this company, and anything we can do to help and support you, by golly, we're here and we want to listen and support you. It's an amazing place, and Carrie, I'm so grateful for you for doing this, putting this together so everybody could come together. I remember when I first started, 1994, I know I don't look that old, but I am. And back then, I remember going around the office asking agents, where did you get your deal? Where did you get, so this conversation is relevant. And I was told, I can't tell you. It was a very big, deep, dark secret. And, because they were afraid you would take their business. So here we're open books, we're open dialogue, and we're here to share as much as we can. Don't be afraid to ask.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, then we had our new agent submit some questions, and some of you have those in front of you, some of you don't. You don't have to write on it. It's just something for you to reference. If you want to take notes, especially our new agents may want to take notes. But these are some of the questions we asked our culture committee to reach out to the new agents and say, what questions do you have about real estate? And these are the questions they submitted. So I'm going to ask, anybody can chime in on these questions. The first question that was asked is, what is something you wish you had known as a new real estate agent? I wish I had known this. Anybody want to chime in and tell us what you wish you had known starting out?
I'll start.
Okay,
I wish somebody had put on a wall, here's the post-license requirements. Here's what's required. Here's an elective. Here's when it's due. Here's continuing ed. Here's where we need to go. Here's what you need to do. The website here, here's this. So just basically what's required first 2 years and before you get post-license, and then go from there.
Yeah.
So,
and we discussed this in Murray the other day, where some of us seasoned agents, we don't have to do that. So helping you guys with all of that is a little bit harder, because that wasn't a requirement when I started, or probably when Melinda started. So we're kind of relying on some of our new agents to help with that. I know we just discussed the CE shop is a good place to do continuing ed. Christy, do you want to chime in on what you did for your PLE?
Yes, I did do some through the CE shop. I actually did more than I needed to do just because I was trying to just learn more. But GRI, if you can do GRI 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, you will also obviously be certified, have your GRI certification at the end, but that would be a good one. Overall, those are good quality classes to take, and that would cover all your 48 hours PLE all in one. So, and that's through the Kentucky Real Estate Institute.
Can we also, some people might not know what that means. PLE is post-licensing education. And we do address that question at the end because one of our agents asked that question, Lisa. She was like, what do I got to do for PLE? And we're going to address that again here towards the end. But GRI counts for PLE, but a lot of our Keller Williams classes, just know that that's not going to continuing ed or PLE. Those are just extras for you to learn how to do social media and, family reunion. There's a ton of great classes, but truthfully, you cannot count that as CE or PLE. So just keep that in mind. All right. Anybody else want to answer that question? What is something you wish you had known as a new real estate agent?
I wish I would have known to treat it like a business and how to set up accounts and how to know what I was actually making, because it was almost like you just take your check and then you go buy stuff you want and then you don't have any money anymore and then you want another closing, and nobody ever explained that I was actually a business until I got to Keller Williams, which was about 8 years ago. So I went a long time without knowing that, and it has helped me budget. I didn't budget, I just bought and sold. It was off the wall. So that's something I wish I would have known.
So now
our company teaches right off the bat.
Yeah. Now to set aside for taxes, just put that in a separate account.
Yeah.
Don't feed, and then come tax season and you owe this chunk of money and you don't have it. So set aside, and your accountant can help you with that. In fact, I think in Murray, Kimberly Bridges is like, go see an accountant, get things set up. So, and then I also have a separate business checking. All of my commission checks go into that account, and then we go from there. So
And pay yourself. I didn't really understand the concept of that with real estate. So you put your commission check in an account and then pay yourself weekly or monthly or whatever over into another account. Just make yourself on salary.
Yeah.
And that way that's your spending money, not what's over here. And it's helped me greatly to do that.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next question.
Who taught you that? I'm just going to write that down. When you said when you came here 8 years ago, what did you?
Well, it was never explained to me to run a real estate business like a business. You were just a real estate agent that made money.
It gives you accounts and things in the MREA book.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
And there's classes on it too. You can find.
Business planning.
Yeah, business planning.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think to add to that, what Kimberly was really adamant about signing up for your LLC, is to create an LLC.
And that was, she said they're a lawyer, correct?
She did it to an accountant, I think.
No,
Lawyer.
that was Greg Taylor.
Could we have a CPA come in one Thursday or something and just
We can
talk
put
about
that to
the
him.
best way to
We
set
could
up?
have Dora do it.
Dora.
What?
Dora's got enough to do. Dora's got
I wasn't
enough
trying to volunteer you, Dora.
That was Brian. It was totally Brian. To answer your question, yes, we can have somebody come in.
That would
Okay,
be helpful.
make a note of that.
I've already got somebody called.
Oh, he's already got someone called. He's on top of it. Okay, we need to get on to our other questions because we know we want to end this around 10. What is the most rewarding part of being a real estate agent? Someone asked that question. What do you consider the most rewarding part of your job? Anybody want to chime in on that one?
Helping people meet their goals.
Helping people meet their goals.
First-time home buyers are fun. They may not be the most profitable, but they're the most fun.
They're excited and not as picky usually.
And they're I don't know. I've seen some really picky ones, but they're the most fun because that is, it's just an
It's a
exciting
dream.
time in life.
It's a dream for most of them to own their own home. Get out of the rental situation. Anybody else want to chime in on that one real quick?
I think it's the to go along with that, helping people not only because people have this, they have their wants, but they also have their needs, and being able to find both of those to work with a client is really great.
Yeah.
It's really satisfying when you know that they walked away with the right house and,
That's right.
and it met everything that they wanted, so.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Okay, what are some common mistakes real estate agents make? What is a common mistake that maybe you recall and you're like, I don't want to do that again. I would want someone else to know this. Common mistake?
I would say overcommitting.
Overcommitting? Okay.
I better write that down.
Something that's I learned the hard way is to keep all your notes, even if you write on the back of a piece of paper. Keep it in that folder, scan it, whatever you got to do, because I had a lawsuit about maybe 7 or 8 years into my real estate, and if I had not have had, of course, again, that's long before cell phones and taking pictures and all that mess. If I had have had my written notes, even though they didn't make any sense to me, the attorney and the judge recognized that as documentation. So if you think about it and you write something down, jot the date up there that you wrote it, even if it's chicken scratch, tear it's a piece of paper, a napkin, it doesn't, keep it somewhere or make a copy of it if you're doing electronic files, because it can really save you in the long run. And another thing is square footage, which has gotten a little different now, but if you even attempt to draw out the house and do some measurements, your measurements can be wrong. Your numbers can be incorrect, but you can show the judge, this is what I did. I guess it was a math error, and it will save you because you did your due diligence to draw it out, even if that square footage was incorrect.
Okay.
That was something.
Just to add to what she's saying, if you take those notes or anything, you can have a miscellaneous folder in your loop.
Okay.
You don't have to submit that for compliance or anything, but you have that there and you can put whatever you want in there. You can take a picture and upload it in there or anything like that, especially if you have a difficult transaction. Anything that you have, it's just like putting your notes in your folder. You've got that miscellaneous in your loop.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Quick question, not to get off subject on that, but since you brought it up, hey, is that going to be available with DocuSign whenever we go
Yes.
to the same miscellaneous? We'll be able to store
Yes.
folders. Okay.
Good to know. All right. Okay, thank you. What are some effective techniques to use when trying to secure a potential buyer or seller? I guess you've got the lead, but how do you secure and make sure they're yours, that you're going to see them to the closing table? Anybody have some effective techniques that have worked to secure that relationship? Because we know they can use any real estate agent out there. We know so many just call and pick up the phone. How do you make them your client? How do you get them to the closing table?
Don't be a Pop-Tart agent.
Explain that.
Meaning when somebody calls and says, I want to see so-and-so, such and such house, don't just pop up and say, okay, I'll meet you there. Because you want to show value, show your value. You can show value on the phone, do your meet them, or in today's world, Zoom or FaceTime or over the phone, do a buyer consultation, that kind of thing. Show value to them, and that you're not just there to open doors, you're there to walk them through a good, smooth process.
Thank you. That's very good. Very good. Anybody else want to?
And can I add to that?
Of course.
The reason I say that is because if all you are is a Pop-Tart agent, they don't see your value and they'll just call the next person. If they want to see another house and you're not available, or maybe they don't really know that you're their agent, then, because you haven't laid that groundwork, then they'll just call or click a button for whatever other Pop-Tart agent might be out there to open the next door.
That's right.
So show your value and lay that
And
groundwork.
stay in touch with that buyer that's, it's hard to find them something right now. You can't just, well, there's nothing out there, there's nothing out there. Just stay in touch. Say, I have to give them a call. I haven't forgotten about you. There's just nothing been able to come on the market. I've got you on mind. I've told my office what I'm looking for, and it just has not come on. But be ready and don't keep them motivated to want to buy. So stay in touch, especially in this market with buyers.
Yeah, and also you can set them up on the MLS to automatically send
Yes.
them, because I tell them to say, hey, this is going to be something I'm going to send. They think it's me sending them this every single time. And hey, I mean,
That's good.
I'm not gonna tell them any different, but at least they get stuff daily or a couple times a day on, depending on what comes on the market. So, it shows that you're active.
Yeah, automated
class.
We'll teach you. We'll teach you.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
that's
can
an
do it.
automatic. You can do an automatic email notification. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question. What makes you unique?
I do have a comment.
Thank
I
you,
was
Arlene.
going, I was going to say, we assume people know more than they know. And one thing to piggyback on what Melinda said, you also should be sure and tell them that you can show them anything that's on the market. Because a lot of people don't realize, they think they have to go to this office. There are still people out there that think they have to go to that office. So that is
Yeah.
another conversation to be sure and have.
They call the list agent. They call the list agent. That's what I did. That's what I did. So, okay. All right, next question. What makes you unique and sets you apart from other agents? What is something that you
Well,
do?
for Sam, it's his good looks. We all know that. I mean, he
One
made that
time.
clear.
One time.
He did.
You have to know the guy that I was talking to. Yeah.
But did you get the listing is the
We
question.
got the listing.
That's right.
And by the way, quick plug, there's an open house today, free lunch. So come on by. There's gonna be a drawing for a gift basket afterwards.
What time is that at?
11:30.
Okay.
On Martin Circle.
Okay, so we got time.
On Martin Circle.
All right. All right. Besides your good looks, what else sets you apart?
I guess I should quit my job then.
I think what sets a good agent apart is just their knowledge of the market. I mean, knowing your market, knowing the prices, knowing the different areas that, you know, where certain homes are that are, you know, that hold their value, things like that. I mean, just knowing the market is what sets you apart.
Yeah.
Listening.
Okay.
Listen to your clients. I've been on several listing appointments where I knew I was up against somebody who has a ton of listings in the area, and I got it. And when I asked, the comment was, well, you took time and you listened to me and you showed me some things. I know one particular lady said, when I met with her, she said, I felt like she had one foot out the door the whole time.
Just ready to go.
So listen to them, show your value. I'm really bad about going ahead and giving some going through and giving my staging, ideas and that kind of thing, where other agents will tell you, don't do that until you've got the listing. I kind of do that anyway, but yet, so that's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's good that I, give them that value, show that value to them, but yet I'm doing it before I have that signed contract.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's showing that value. So a lot of times they'll choose you because you did do that.
Right. I agree.
Melinda, that's just like Keller Williams always says, come from contribution.
Contribution, exactly.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, I had this happen last week on one of my listings. This young couple called, and I went in and we were talking before they left. I said, now, do you guys have a house to sell? Is this your first house? Have you got your pre-approval? Do you know what you're doing? And they go, yeah. I said, are you working here? Are you, you just moved to Independence, right? And the guy turned around, he goes, we've looked at 3 other houses, and what they were doing was calling the realtor that was in the yard. And they said, you're the only one that has asked us about our financing or where we were moving or why we were looking for a house. So there are people that just don't ask any questions. And I learned a long time ago, and I have to confess, I don't do it every time, but especially if it's somebody that I haven't met, there's a sheet that I have that's called the buyer interview. And I take that with me, and when I'm in there, I take a note, and even though if you're not writing anything down, if you act like you're writing something down, they still are impressed that you're taking notes. Seriously, even on a listing or a buyer.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I know Christy's good at taking notes.
I was going to see if, could you share that buyer interview sheet you have? I was just going to compare it to stuff that we do ask.
For the buyer interview.
Yeah, maybe Mackenzie can email that out to with that.
I'll get it to me.
Yeah, and she can make, is that?
Yeah, I actually had a.
No, I'm
line
writing
that
it down.
They were talking with another agent, but she said the same, like, I was like, but what is it that you want? What kind of house, what style of house? And she was like, you mean that we get an option? Like the last agent just asked us how much we were approved for, and then that's it. Like they just wanted to know how much money we could spend, and didn't ask us anything about what it was that we needed or wanted. So
Interesting. Good to know. Okay, let's go on to our next question. What are your top tips for a listing presentation? When you're going to list a house and actually just trying to secure that listing, she gave us some. Listen.
Have a listing presentation for real.
A real listing.
Yeah,
presentation.
Linda's gonna laugh at that one, I know. She's not listening.
Bring something. Bring something, or do you
Have
do
your
your
listing presentation with you.
Okay. Yeah, and we have those. I know Command has them, and I know there's different listing presentations you can get through KW to help you. It's long. It's like 25 pages. I picked out our favorites, and that's what we go with.
Yeah, you don't have to use every one in there. You can pick and choose which pages you want.
And March 11th. Is it Marcus?
Yeah. Marcus Heflin.
Marcus Heflin is doing his listing presentation for us. So just put that down. It's going to be zoomed in at
1:30. We'll zoom in. We'll have a Zoom link, and it'll also be zoomed into the market centers. It'll be 1:30 to 3 o'clock.
I know Lisa's like, I wish it was today.
Yes, our time.
Yeah. For sure. Well, it's so embarrassing because I have read through it 50 million times and just I'm so overwhelmed on how to put it together. Has anybody felt like that? So it's just embarrassing to say like, you're like, oh, just go in there and pick out yours. But it's so hard. I almost just need somebody right now, like he said, just print out this.
We can help you.
So, just until I get comfortable enough to make it my own, because you really,
and I think
put yourself in their shoes is the best way to do it. Feel
well,
like, what is it that you want to know, or what are the most important?
so basically when you say that, it's really just your questions for your listing presentation or your advice. Is that what you're calling a listing presentation?
There's actually things we can print for you,
Gotcha.
and I'll show you. I can show you after I'm done here. No, you're good. One thing that we really recommend, especially for your new agents, is especially now we're number one. I think we are still. Okay, we were number one last year. We're number one now. You don't have your stats to go on, so put yourself with the KW group and look at the company I'm working for. Look what they've done. I've got the support of, is it 59 agents or
62?
62 agents. I can ask questions, I can help you, and our company's proven that they can get the job done. So print out your MLS stats. If you don't know how to do that, we'll show you how to do that. Because that's not a leg you can stand on, even though you don't have the reviews to give them, you don't have your stats to give them KW stats. So anybody else top tips for listing presentation? Okay. All right. This is important. What are some of your best tips for lead generating? Getting your leads, which we know is a huge part of our business. It's not just listing homes and showing buyers homes, but we have to get the leads. How do you guys get your leads? Anybody have a tip for getting leads, especially for these new agents?
Your sphere of influence is the best thing. I've been doing some coaching recently, and part of my homework was to write down every closing I had last year and where that lead came from. And I had never done that before, and almost every single one was from my sphere.
Okay.
I'd say 90%.
Gary Keller said that during family reunion, your database is your business.
Yeah.
That is, if you don't have numbers, if you don't have people, you don't have a business.
That's right.
And that's the thing. That's
regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not a sphere of influence, some of you guys may have just moved here, you don't have that. So anytime, command ads, anytime you get a phone number, email, any type of information, go ahead and start a database. I started mine in Paragon when I first started because I didn't know where to put people. but start keeping those people, because if they're not buying and selling now, maybe 6 to 7 years they will. So start putting them somewhere electronically is best. Obviously, we have Command that we're going to try to get implemented. And don't lose that piece of paper or shove it in your desk, and then you'll forget about them. So
I was going to say, really work on building your social media presence, Instagram and Facebook, and really work on that. You may not even know any of the people you're talking to, but if you keep adding friends, develop a business page, add friends, start posting stuff on the Instagram. Krista McCoy, I saw something come across Instagram today. She's doing a pretty good job of getting out there. And so people are aware that she is an agent. And eventually, and I'm sure she's getting some good leads off of it too, but she will have friends or friends refer her to her because of it.
Another thing that was huge when I first started, and sadly we can't do it just yet, but if you're not a member of a committee like with the chamber or the county, or you can ask to be on something that has to do with your community, try to get out there and join, because that's the first thing I was taught to do by an attorney when I got my license, was get out, wear your name tag, have your business cards, because guys, not everybody is on Facebook and Instagram every minute of the day. They're at the grocery store, they're wherever. I've gotten leads in the grocery store because I have my name tag on. And, so you don't know what you don't know. So just always, whether it's your church or whether it's like the professional business group that you want to join, and keep up with what's happening in the city and the county that you live in. I just noticed this week, yesterday, I shared it on our Facebook page that the south side of Paducah has always been like the stepchild of Paducah. And they're going to they have 2 meetings coming up that you can go to and learn about their ideas and put ideas in about what you think would help the south side, especially someone like me that lives there. And you're going to meet somebody in that meeting that you don't know, and you can introduce yourself. So have an elevator speech.
One other thing that was brought up in the Tuesday meeting, which I have done this too some, is go around to maybe the beauty salons, offices, if you can. I know with COVID, you gotta be a little bit more careful, but most of the people, you just introduce yourself, tell them about, that you're in real estate, and if they know anyone. I did that to several of the beauty salons locally, and I have received leads off of that. And I don't even use them as my hairdresser necessarily, but it was something that came about. Also at the gym, I was working out the other day. Someone knew that I was a realtor because I put my cards at the gym. So they said something to me and asked me just a real estate question. So, eventually that might lead to something we don't know.
I do want to say tomorrow at noon, Cody Hellard out of the KW Heartland office, he's the tech ambassador over there out of E-Town. He's doing a social media class for us. It'll be on our office Zoom link, and I'll also Zoom it at both market centers. It'll be at noon tomorrow, noon to 1.
Thank you. All right, we've got 3 more questions. What in your opinion would be some of the best traits to have as a realtor? What are some of the best traits that you see in the best realtors, the ones that are producing? What are some traits that they carry? I will say honesty, integrity, being yourself, being authentic.
Servant heart.
A servant heart, yeah. Be there to empathize with them, because some of them, it's not a happy time. Some of them, they've lost someone, and you have to empathize and kind of hold their hand through this process. Some of it's a very exciting time, and you rejoice with them. So you kind of have to go where they're at.
I'd say be a good communicator. On top of what you said, I would add be a great communicator, because they are left in the dark sometimes, not knowing what's going on. And the more you can share and keep them in the loop, the more they will trust you.
Thank you.
Even if you have to say, I just wanted to contact you. I know you wonder what's going on. There's not really anything new to share, but I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, That's good. That's good. Okay, what options do we know about for PLE? And we've kind of already touched on this. Anybody else want to add in where they did their PLE? I think did we get your question answered, Lisa? Yes. I know that was one of your questions. Tuesday, yeah, okay. All right, then, and for the next question, go ahead.
Make a comment about your PLEs, because don't wait till the last minute to get it. And I mean, I've been doing this since 1998. Any kind of education that I can get, that's so important. The more you can learn, the more you can stay involved. I mean, I've got classes I'm signing up for all the time because I want to stay on top of things. And if you wait too long on your PLEs, you can time out and they will actually suspend your license. We had someone that happened to, they'll suspend your license until it's complete. So don't wait the whole 2 years. Yeah, go on and get it done.
Because it's always going to be the week before big closing when you're suspended.
Yeah.
We'll get that client back.
Okay, and then what is the best way to generate leads? And this was kind of questioned twice, but just starting out, we said sphere of influence. What is there any other ways that you guys can suggest on generating leads?
I would say the command campaigns are awesome. You don't have to have your own listing. If you just call up another agent that has a listing that you like and say, hey, do you mind if I advertise this listing for you? It'll help. They'll say yes, because I'm doing them all the time. And nobody's told me, no, don't advertise my listing yet.
Right.
So that works. And then.
And you get phone numbers and emails that way.
It automatically goes into your command database. And then you instantly, if you will instantly set them up on the smart plans, they'll get something right that minute. And then you probably, if you should, have already called and touched base with them. So they're going to get an initial call from you. Something's going to go in their email. And if you've got them on the smart plans, in addition to whatever you're remembering to doing, that's sending you a task list to remind you. And it will occasionally send out a little email of market snapshot or something like that. So they're getting something else without you even thinking about it.
Yeah. And can you tell if they've read that email? I know in some
No, I
forms you
can't.
can. Okay, I was curious. The thing about these Facebook command ads is some of them are not like super like ready to go type leads, but I do believe if you stay in touch with them through the smart plan or however
You're looking for opportunity, not opportunity right now, opportunity period. So whether it's opportunity today, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you're still going to need that opportunity.
I was telling the Murray class the other day, I just listed and put under contract of someone I met in Bold in 2015. And we just got her house listed and under contract. If I had not stayed in touch with her, I probably would not have gotten that phone call. But she called me with 2 other agents, and I got to be the one to list her house. But I stayed in touch over 6 years. I've stayed in touch with her. So sometimes it takes a while to nurture. Don't say, oh, they're not answering my call. They're not. Sometimes they're just not ready. And so you just have to stay in touch.
Go ahead, Arlene.
I was just going to say too, I said this Tuesday, since while you're new, go ahead and get your sphere of influence put in command, because as you work and you get busier, you forget about it. And if there is, I believe it's in the MREA book, but there's circles that will make you think about who your sphere of influence is. And it's surprising if you really use that to build that sphere. But be sure and get that list together now. And then that way you've always got somebody to call and say, hey, how you doing? I hadn't talked to you in a while. And end it with, do you know, or a good friend you can call and say, hey, I'm getting low on listings. Do you know of anybody that might be ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate?
Thank you, Arlene. Leslie, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I don't remember what meeting it was. It wasn't Tuesday, and I may have given it to Mackenzie or to put in, I have that sheet.
Anna, it came out.
It went out. Oh, okay. So
Sorry,
don't
Minnie.
forget, if you didn't get it, go back because it'll jog your memory.
Of who to talk to.
Yeah, who's the doctor you know? Who's your dentist? Who you go to church with? I mean, it's 5 pages, I think.
Yeah, Anna sent it out Tuesday. Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you. Okay, so that's all the questions here. Did that jog any of our new agents, even seasoned agents? Any other questions you might have about real estate? We've got about 5 minutes unless Ben's got something else to do.
Nope, we got 5 minutes because Dora's got document class at 10 o'clock. For anybody to stay in document class. Go ahead, Christy.
I was going to say, don't be afraid to branch out of your county that you're living in and maybe go to a county in a rural area that you know that there's really probably not a lot of realtors, especially if it's within 30 to 45 minutes. Just map yourself and see where you can maybe work a new county. I mean, obviously I went to Graves first, wasn't too far away. I'm not opposed to learning more about Trig, and I've been trying to through the years, especially with how the Corps of Engineers works and things like that. I mean, you don't have to stick with your county, I'm just saying. So if you feel like, well, McCracken just is overwhelmed with so many agents, move around to, I guess, Bardwell or whatever those counties over there. Anyway.
Thank you, Christy. All right. Oh, Tracy.
So if you reach out to other counties, do you need like different lenders from those county areas to get out or inspector areas? You know, do you have to have different people to get out and same thing, or do you just use the same to do with people?
So I think of it this way, you work everywhere. The lenders work everywhere and so do the inspectors.
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my.
So you can keep it kind of an area thing or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't develop a relationship with a lender in Mayfield or wherever, but you know, but you don't have, it's not like a Jerry Ladd can't do it, he does.
Everywhere.
Yeah, he goes 2 hours away.
Well, in this day and age too, with the technology the way it is, that's become a lot easier. But most of our home inspectors will travel the whole county just like we do. Yeah.
I think that's something Linda's even learned by having her house in Katy. Is people around here are used to, like your home inspectors in Paducah are used to going to Mayfield to do jobs. They don't just stay in Paducah.
Yeah.
People in Katy's go to Murray to do jobs, and they go everywhere. We don't.
Roughly 45 minutes to an hour radius.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, we all drive 25 minutes to go to the grocery. Think about that. If you're trying to that hard to spend money, I'm sure you drive that far to make money.
Yeah.
Hey, just while we're talking about traveling home inspectors, I used John Barr's guy that was here the other day. He rocked it out. He did a great job. He's from Cadiz.
Yeah.
And he's coming in. He's working up here. Everything that he said the other day, I saw it. This was on a 9-plex. He did 9 individual inspection reports, not just for one complex, but each unit got its own inspection report down to the light switches, heating and air, everything. It was wonderful. So
We've used him some. The only thing that I did not like, and I've already talked to him about this, is I did not like the Search.com. So I asked him not to offer that to my agents or to my clients because they were paying to get estimates. I'm like, most of the time I can get them a free estimate. So if you use him, because some of the estimates he was given, I said, those are going to scare my buyers. Please, just don't even offer that service. Other than that, I thought he was a good inspector, but I did have him back off. I had 2 of them he gave estimates to, and I was like, stop, no.
He's making that part of his spiel now, because I used him for the first time also. And the first question he asked me was, now, do you want that report, repair report? I said, no, do not send it. He goes, okay.
Yeah.
So you just let him know up front before he even does the inspection, you don't want it.
Yeah.
If it's a disaster.
It is a disaster. Both of my deals stayed together, but I could see them falling apart super quickly and easily if they continue to get that. I was like, don't even offer it to them. Don't even ask.
And I made the comment that whenever he was here and left, whenever you're in opportunities and you're on your buyer profile, Porch is an option there for command already.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to use him.
Gotcha.
But if it's here, it's already in command. It's in
Well, and if you remember, I asked him what contractors are using. I mean, they could be contractors in Louisville.
Yeah.
They know nothing about
exactly.
the,
It was not
the
good.
market here.
So we have that option if we want to. We don't have to use him, but it's in command.
And I'm not even interested in it. I mean, I can call Serval, the roofer, I can call the electrician, so I told him no more. And he was good with that. He was super nice. He was like, whatever you want, I'm here to work with you. So, then do we want to do any wants and needs?